Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Monday, October 30th, 2023. I'm back from my holiday. I really enjoyed myself. And as you noticed, I also got a new laptop. People have supported me, so I was able to buy this one and I'm really happy with it. And last week was the time to just, take this step. It was quite nerve wracking because I don't know anything about laptops and things like that. So it's always, a gamble if this is the right one or not. But I'm very happy with it. And I hope the sound is also, not too loud. I actually listened, how do you say this? This is the first time I actually am taping something and then with my microphone, and I was actually hearing it back and I noticed that the sound was pretty much off, so I hope I've adjusted it correctly. Just let me know. So interesting thing is, before I started my holiday on the Friday before that, I actually did like a regression session to look at former lifetimes and see like threads going on there, and it was very, very interesting that in certain lives and lifetimes, I just really didn't know better. I just didn't have the consciousness to understand what was truly going on, and I got really stuck in a certain lifetime. Maybe I'll be doing a video about that yet because I could discuss that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but it was really very tough spot I was in. And it was very interesting for me to see and to look back at that. Of course, if you're open for past lifetimes or not, but it was just very interesting. And just to see that there are, I've been talking about it, but it was just experiencing it for myself, that I really was in a lifetime, I really didn't know any better. I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand the concept of, seeing that I had a direct effect on what was going on. I just felt completely disconnected with everything, and I was very, very angry in that lifetime. And there were multiple lifetimes. It was very interesting to see. There was a lot of shame as well. And it also, in a way, made me see how proud, in a way, I could be of what I've accomplished now. I still am in process, and I think it's very important for us all to realize how far we have come. Maybe not just, in the past lifetimes, if you really are not open for that, but just in this lifetime, if you can just see the past 4 years, almost 4 years, almost 2024, what has happened, and how strong we've been, and how we've, stuck to our own way of thinking, in a way, and being prepared to stand up for that. It is very interesting to see, and especially for me to see the differences in consciousness in certain lifetimes and the evolution of that. And we should be very proud of ourselves, proud that we are capable of seeing things differently, proud that we are capable of following our own path and just not, how do you say this, be manipulated anymore. And it's just a very different way. I've talked about this, that there are people, of course, that will not understand. And in past lifetimes, I was one of those people that really didn't understand the manipulation, just didn't understand what really was going on. I was too focused on my own life and what was happening to me that I just couldn't see anything else. So we all have different, how do I say this? Different levels. It's not good or bad. It's just a different level. So it's important to understand that you cannot wake up someone else. They have to evolve as well. They have to follow a certain path, and they have to change from the inside out. Just like they cannot change our perspective, they are not capable, luckily, to change our point of view. They were trying to, some people tried to convince me to get these things. Well, I wasn't going to get them. But, in their minds, I was the one that saw it incorrectly, and I had all these strange ideas. And if you think about that, just standing there, standing for your being different than most people, it is tough. But we should be proud of where we are. We should be proud of what we have accomplished and that we are still standing strong and we refuse to bend. No matter what is going to happen in the outside world, we will not comply. And it's very important to truly feel that. And it is, at least if I speak for myself, it has been a long path. I've had quite some lifetimes I was looking into, and I was just quite amazed by the path that was behind me. Whether that is true or not, maybe it's, constructions of our mind. It doesn't really matter ultimately. If it brings you further, if it connects you with your soul, with yourself, then I see that as a good thing. And it did connect me. And I'm still kind of processing what has happened that Friday. But it was very, very interesting. So just to experience that. I'm also going to do a few different things. I've said before that I was probably going to do an English live, but I've decided that, especially with all these time zones, it's just a very small group of people. I'm very happy with the people that watch me, obviously, that I've decided to do it a little differently. I am going to do another live, a Dutch live extra this week, but I've decided that most likely that Friday I will just look at my lives from Tuesday evening, which is also a Dutch live, and then from Friday, and see which questions, because I really try to answer questions that people ask me in the lives that could be relevant, just an international, because some questions are really very just, people in the Netherlands or certain situation in the Netherlands. Of course, it has to do with farmers and things like that. It's a broader picture. So I've decided then to make a video about that and let you know what came out of what the question was, and of course what I saw with my cards. I hope you might find that interesting, so then you'll also hear about that, because obviously I won't be able to do the entire live in Dutch. That's too exhausting to do that, but I could pick out some questions and then of course make an English video about that. So that's what I'm going to do. This is more of an experiment this week, and on Thursday I will do the month reading for this month, because it's going to be November already. It's just unbelievably fast. Time truly flies. But in this video I'm going to take a look at the week ahead. So let me know if that's interesting to you, if I would do like an English recap with some questions I've done in the lives that could be relevant, and just let me know how you feel about that. So it's more of an experiment, see just how it works out. And the cards I've got for this week, first is the Strength card, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and we have the 10 of Wands. So to me this feels like there's going to be struggling, power struggles. I have to say I'm behind obviously with Telegram. I haven't really watched anything last week or yesterday, or well, I'm kind of starting this morning. So, but there's so much to see and read. And of course, what's going on in the Middle East, I think more countries are going to be involved. There's going to be a lot of war talk, so to speak, and things might be heading that way. I do believe that this is part of the heading to the Third World War. I don't think there's going to be a Third World War, but it will seem that way. Also, health things are going to come up. Matthew Perry, if I'm not mistaken, who played Chandler, died. And it's very likely that he had something to do with a cardiac arrest. Apparently he was in his jacuzzi and drowned there. It's interesting to see, but at least he was completely up to date with his things. I saw a picture somewhere that he was actually selling t-shirts for that. Okay, so maybe something will come out about that, but I do believe, especially with health, there's still so much that needs to come out about these things. More and more, they won't be able to suppress that, but more and more things are coming out about that as well. So this week could be interesting, but the focus will be on the power struggles around the world. The dark energies are trying to create chaos. How to say this? Cause all kinds of confusion. So I do think that this week will have things to do with that. Maybe more countries are becoming involved in what's going on in the Middle East, or speaking out, a lot of tough talk. That's what it feels like. The 3 cards for the advice for this week is the Nine of Swords. We've got the Chariot, and we have the 8 of Cups. It's really so important to really start taking responsibility, especially after, the regression session. It was so interesting to see that all these triggers in other lifetimes were really just to help me get further ahead. I just didn't understand it at that time. That's why I got stuck multiple times, because I didn't truly understand what was going on, what was given to me. So if you're fearful, anxiety, anger, frustration, really try to feel through that, deal with it, find a way that you can, especially with anger, maybe through sports, physical exertion, or try to see, maybe you can start writing about that, especially when I'm angry. It's also a way for me to just write down, very, how do you say, the very intense way of writing things. You can, give a voice to it, or maybe somewhere where you're completely by yourself, you can scream, for instance, if that feels right to you. Fear, feel through it. Shame, to me, that was a very important thread in my multiple lives that I went through, is the shame. Feel through them, because then you'll take control over your own energy. We will be leaving things behind. We'll be moving away from this. So important to understand that we truly are responsible for what we encounter in our lives. I've seen that actually in that session, how it's all connected. And this is the Great Awakening. This is about awakening yourself, truly stepping into your own power. And we can do that. We can truly take, the reign over our lives. And by doing so, we take over the world, because we start manifesting, we start using those energies. If we understand those triggers are there so we can heal, they're not to punish us, they're not there to, confuse us or keep us, unbalanced, unstable. They're there so we can really embrace them, heal them, so we can really step into our powers and move further away from where we are now. Leave behind what we know now as this earth, this world. The dark energies have been living off our energy by manipulating that, by keeping these triggers there. And if we start healing ourselves, we won't be manipulated anymore. We'll be able to use all these energy for this beautiful new world that's in essence already there. We have to draw in those energies and start manifesting them. And we can do that by stepping into our own power, by taking back all these triggers that we may still carry with us. The more we feel through it, the more stronger we'll be, the more we'll be able to use our own energy aligned with our intuition, with God, with our soul. And we'll be able to leave behind all these old things, this old earth, and heading to something beautiful, something new. That new earth that a lot of us are really longing for. We're pretty fed up with all these old things. And of course, there will be timelines separating and people, it really has to do with your frequency that you're on that will decide where you're going to end up. And it's important that we also understand that some people, they have a different path. And that's all right. They have to, especially when I'm looking back now at my session. So interesting to see all those lives and see how it kind of flowed and how I got stuck, how I got unstuck again. It is very, very interesting to see. So we just don't know what the soul contracts are for other people. We can only focus on ourselves, and we should be proud of where we are now. Embrace what can still come up, triggers that can still come up, so we can really step into our own power and leave this behind, move away from this. I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.